to take a guess.
There's actually
Right?
two other major impediments too, right? And one of them is adverse selection, and the other is on-ramps and off-ramps, like user experience. So on-ramps and off-ramps, if you want, let's take Earthcoin, and you want a lot of people to participate in the utility and the trading and the use of Earthcoin, you got to make it so easy, right? It's got to be so easy to use. We're used to Venmo and PayPal and things like that. So people have expectations. If you say you got to go to Korea to Qubit and register and download a plugin, install Chrome, then it becomes hard. And the second issue is the adverse selection, that most of the people buying and trading the token have no intrinsic interest in the value of your project, right? They just want to flip, they want to make a buck, they want to scam, they want to meme coin. So unfortunately, and it's like a little embarrassing because I kind of helped to start this industry, there's a lot of really bad players out there right now that are not aligned with you. And so we can have all the we can have all of the vision and the quality wanting to do good, but we might get swamped with a community that's not interested at all. And then you're hiring people to manage Telegram groups and manage Twitter. And it's like, that's bullshit. So that's one of the biggest reasons I am cautious on tokens. And instead of running my own, I've actually just seed invested the guys who have, the energy to deal with that, who live on Twitter and things like that. So it's another thing I think for when folks want to say, oh, I'll just launch a token, don't underestimate the cost of managing the community. That's a challenge.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Will and Paul. Listen, there's the whole issue of regulatory. Look what crowdfunding went through. The promulgation. I was actually, they asked me as the head of an incubator and everything way back when the SEC was even talking about this, and how the angel and venture people were all against it, and Congress was saying there was going to be so much fraud and everything. It's different, and we've done whole sessions on Coffee and Cash about that. Equity crowdfunding. What was interesting to me is after all these years, it proved out that there's a lot of fraud and good things that happen with crowdfunding, that is GoFundMe or something like that, some terrible tragedy or whatever. Then there's the same thing with reward-based one, and where there's great Kickstarter and all that, great successes and terrible frauds and messes and everything. And yet crowdfunding, heavily SEC regulated, CF and all that we're dealing with, has been the lowest of all that and turned to be completely different. And that's why it's soaring around the world and soaring over angel and venture capital. And I'm always worried about what's going on, because I don't see a final writing that's in concrete from the SEC about cryptocurrency and how to do it for investing. And Paul, you're absolutely right, and Will, you're right. There is a lot of risk about your audience, and how you're doing it, and how to put it all together, and then come back and have a regulation and a lawsuit. You don't want to see, especially with what happened with the terrible fraud a year ago. So thank you for bringing that up. It's an important issue.
Yeah,
Tell me when you want me to actually talk about